We all have our biases. I have biases. We all do. And that is going to be the theme throughout these videos. Biases are part of our human nature. Does that make us bad people? No, I don't think so. However, I think it's essential that we recognize and own those biases that we have, and we find ways to overcome and challenge those biases. The Ohio State University Curran Institute, a leading research group regarding implicit bias, defines implicit bias or implicit social cognition as the attitudes or stereotypes that affect our understanding, actions, and decisions in an unconscious manner. Often the biases that we have come from stereotypes, and it's implicit, meaning it's unconscious. We're not necessarily thinking about it. It's just things that we do that may come from our backgrounds, our lived experiences, and our social circles. So what does implicit bias look like in schools? We can see it in a variety of places. Think about this. How many times have we seen someone's address on their enrollment paperwork or the school they are transferring in from, and we start thinking about the student's previous school's reputation? Maybe we associate their home address with poverty or a community of low socioeconomic status. Perhaps we think about the schools they're coming from. If we know it's a Title I school, 100% free and reduced lunch, and we assume that this child might be behind or didn't have access to the academic resources such as teachers or technology they needed to be on grade level. If we think about neighborhoods that a child is coming from, oh, they are from that neighborhood, they're probably black, or they more than likely come from a single parent home. We make these assumptions with limited information, and it happens a lot. What about a child's name? We see an ethnic sounding name. Someone's name is Juan Rodriguez, and we just assume, oh, I wonder if English is his first language. They probably need to be tested for ESL because more than likely they might be coming from a home where English is not their first language. We make a lot of these assumptions based on limited information. Another example is how we treat siblings. We had an older sibling come through our classroom. Maybe they were a good student in our opinion. Perhaps we had the best time with that student. They're fantastic. They're amazing. Then their younger sibling, we see that they're going to come through our classroom as well, and we automatically assume that that child will be good as a student or the reverse, right? As their older brother or sister. Maybe we had a sibling that we viewed as a bad student. I don't like saying bad students, but they gave us a hard time, a troublemaker, if you will. Now we have a younger student and we feel like that could be the case as well. How about stopping individual students in the hallway more frequently? Or intolerance to students who are not Christian? Again, I've done it too. I'm not innocent in this at all. We all have our biases, we all do. Let's say you're a white educator and you have students of color in your classroom. You may not understand certain things or recognize them as culturally based instead of being signs of disrespect or defiance. I'll give you an example. What we may perceive as roughhousing, bullying, or signs of anger may not be the case. School discipline and classroom management are often subjective. When we see students of color raising their voice at each other or using their hands in their communication, it's not always a sign of disruption or anger. It's often how students express their passion for their emotions and their way of getting their message across. Instead of reacting to what we perceive as possible bullying and arguing, it's better to listen to what our students are saying to each other and gain a clearer picture of what is happening. Taking time to understand cultural differences helps us to see the full picture better. Implicit bias can affect the way we perceive different cultures. Having a better understanding of implicit bias helps us understand ourselves and others better, even if we do not share their experiences. That's why understanding cultural differences is so significant. So, implicit bias or implicit social cognition is the attitudes or stereotypes that affect our understanding, actions, and decisions in an unconscious manner. We need to be mindful of our implicit biases because having a better understanding of implicit bias helps us to understand ourselves and others better, even if we do not share their experience. By recognizing implicit bias, it should make us pause and reflect on our perceptions of others and why we have those perceptions. Take a moment to reflect. What implicit biases do you recognize in yourself?